coming direct from the conscious room. It's your brother and comrade in the struggle, Kiwe Bomani. As y'all see, I got my Black Lives Matter hat on. I brought this hat when I first came home and supported the struggle because I came home during a crucial time. But that's even here it is. But today I want to share something with y'all. It's dealing with 3 words. 3 words I believe you should know, eternalize, and understand, because it will change your perception of everything you see. Because growing up, I didn't have a knowledge of what was racism. I would confuse discrimination with racism because I had no idea. I didn't really develop an understanding of racism until I went to jail. And they basically beat it in me, where racist correctional officers actually punched my face, spit in my face, and called me nigga. That was like the most, how you could say it, knowledgeable form of racism I knew. But I was a victim of racism all my life, because racism is disguised in many shapes, forms, and sizes. But I was oblivious to this until that ass whooping. And I said, yeah, this racism, because I heard the word nigga as they punched and spit on me. So I think it's a must that most black people have a form, not most, all black people have a form of understanding what race is. Racism and institutional racism. And I'm going to give you these definitions that I was blessed with. I received from PESUP. PESUP it was a Pan-African study group formed in Temple University, and they corresponded with prisoners. This is where I got this definition with. I even eternalize it and memorize it. But I want to give it to y'all, and hopefully you do the same thing, because it's definitely going to help you operate in this world, or as Tupac say, this white man's world. The first word is race. They say race as a relatively modern concept is a social construct which attempts to separate humankind into distinct groups based on genotype, which is the genetic and heritage, which you inherit, and phenotype, what you look like, and geography, that's where you came from. These are all European, Euro-American social constructs that hold at the center of their belief that there are pure and impure races of people. This false, you heard what I said, false belief promotes the categorizing of people chromatically through colors, yellow, black, brown, white, and so on. Boom. I want to point out something before I move on to the next one. When the beginning, when they said it's a relatively modern concept, meaning it's some Johnny-come-lately made-up stuff. It all was put in place, to create this paradigm, this, white supremacy thing that's in effect. It's modern, meaning it wasn't around when we was, if you don't know, now you know. We are the original people, the first people to work the earth, walk the earth. This ain't no racism. This ain't none of that. It's true facts. Even if you do the research, there's trace every human being on this earth back to a black woman that they find remains in Tanzania, in Africa, and they nicknamed her Lucy. They can connect every living person back to her through microscopic DNA. It's a DNA that's only passed through the females. So I ain't on no black supremacy or no hate. I'm just giving it to you raw. Some people can't handle the truth. The next word I'm going to bust down is racism. It is the doctrine or ideology that advances the inherent genetic superiority of an entire race. Conversely, the inherent inferiority of another, meaning they basically saying that this racism promotes superiority to one group of people and subjects another people to an inferiority, to an inferior state. They say in ideology, racism, a euphemism for white racial supremacy. Is a psychological and psychopathic disorder which allows the vast majority of people to deny the reality of humanity, which is that our humanity is linked genetically, historically, and social culturally in a development continuum. This disorder disables critical thought, destroys and limits human potential, and establishes a false scientific intellectual hierarchy of the races of humankind. You know, they had to create this just, I guess, for their subjugation on us. They keep them always in a position of power, and so on. It's all a part of the plan. The third word is institutional racism. That's why Black Lives Matter, because the institutional racism and racism in all form. Institutional racism is the use of institutions, government, religious, academics, media, family, power, and authority, consciously or unconsciously, to support, enforce, and perpetuate racist ideologies and practices in a systematic manner. Institutionalized or institutional racism, my bad, is deep, man. And examples of institutional racism is the slave codes, Jim Crow, and so on, man. A lot of things they put in effect. The church was a vehicle of institutional racism. The school system is a tool to institutional racism. The judicial system is a tool to institutional racism. And then the beat goes on, man. And I'm going to keep it short and basic because I just wanted to share them three definitions with you to give you a better understanding on what you against. Like I said, we all we got. And I'm going to leave you with love and peace. And that's one to grow on.